Доброго дня.
Good afternoon, and now press briefing of Presidential Administration spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Firstly, I would like to say that for the first time since 27th of August 2015, so in about 8 months, the number of enemy shellings exceeded 100. Now it is 103. According to statistics, the longest shelling was delivered for about 2 hours. Now the information in more detail. Lugansk area. In the evening, the enemy violated ceasefire in the region of Stanitsa Luganskaya. At that, they used mortar, and also because of the tense situation and danger to the life of civilians, pedestrian checkpoint at Stanitsa Luganska remains closed. The militants shelled Ukrainian positions on Krymske and Zolote, and during the last 24 hours, on the whole, there were 6 enemy shellings, and in Troitske village, a civilian woman was blown up by a fire trap. She was hospitalized. In the Donetsk area, half of all the shellings are in Avdiivka, where the militants deliver fire during 24 hours, trying to advance to the west. The situation is tense in Svetlodarska Balch near Gorlovka, and also the situation tense in Zaitsevo, and also at positions at Shakhta Putilivska or Butovka Donetsk. There were in Donetsk area 74 shellings, 17 of which with the use of heavy weapons. In Mariupol area, the enemy attacked our positions between Novotroitsky and Kuchaevsky, and the enemy used 120 mortars and also APC. And due to good coordination of 2 neighboring positions of ATO forces, Ukrainian servicemen repelled the attack without losses. And the group of the militants, they panicked and retreated. So ATO forces also destroyed BMP-1, and 3 of the servicemen, they are the operators of grenade launcher. They will be decorated, and submission for their decoration has already been made. In Mariinka, the militants delivered heavy shelling for about 10 hours during the day. At that, the militants used mortars near Berezova and 122mm artillery near Bogdanovka. On the whole, during the last 24 hours in Mariupol area, there were 24 enemy shellings. During the last 24 hours, in the result of active military actions, we lost 1 Ukrainian serviceman and 3 were wounded. Chief Intelligence Department of the Ministry of Defense showed the losses of the enemy. In Donetsk Oblast, in the region Donetsk, Avdiivka, and Zaitsevo, 4 militants died and 9 were wounded. These are the militants from 3 detachments of Russian occupation forces, so-called 11th Detached Motorized Regiment, 3rd Detached Motorized Brigade, and 100th Detached Motorized Brigade of 1st Army Corps of DPR. Lugansk area in the region of Molodizhne. 5 were killed and 7 were injured from the 6th Detached Motorized Regiment of 2nd Army Corps LPR. 3 days ago, in the course of unloading of ammunition, the militants quarreled among themselves of so-called 6th Detached Motorized Regiment and 2nd Detached Motorized Brigade of LPR, and this quarrel ended in fighting and firing, and in the result of this, 1 militant was wounded.
In occupied Stakhanov, 2 militants made an attempt to rob a local citizen. However, they met a resolute rebuff and got to the hospitals with serious injuries, and Ukrainian Defense intelligence informs that in Russia regular reinforcement arrived. In particular, the special train with ammunition arrived to Kharkiv. It carried 80 tons of ammunition and 120 tons of fuel. And the special train with fuel, 320 tons, arrived to Ravenki. Security service officers found 4 pictures of 17th century from the collection stolen in 2005 in museum in the Netherlands. The security service of Ukraine conducted large-scale operations to check the info that the pictures were in Ukraine. They found that the robbery was organized by the international criminal group, which also incorporated the persons from Donbass. Security service in national interest do not disclose all details and reassures that the search for other pictures will continue. One more former militant returned home. In the scope of the program, they are waiting for you at home. The citizen of Krasnoarmeysk joined military group of militants in February 2015 and stayed in the ranks of the hostile detachment in Dokuchayevsk. Looting, sneering attitude of Russian bosses to their subordinates helped the man to understand his mistake and contact special services. So he returned home. The trainings of Ukrainian military men continued in Rivne firing ground. They conduct brigade tactic exercises. During the exercises, the militaries mastered the skills of offensive and advancing from depths and assault skills, and also assault across river and assault and trading operations, and repelling the counter-offensive of the enemy. In Dnipropetrovsk region, the exercises and professional training of military men of 93 mechanized brigade are held. So our military agencies and train so that they are fit and have skills to stop the enemy. Thank you, Mr. Lysenko. There are no questions. Thank you, Colonel Lysenko. The next briefing at 1:30.